welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are really excited to talk with another actor today. We are talking with Erika Prevost, who starred in this season's Lifetime movie, Say Yes to Christmas. And Erika, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this chat.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So why don't you start out, introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about how you got inspired to get into acting.
Okay. Well, I'm Erika, and I'm an actor who's currently living in Toronto. I started acting sort of by accident, actually. I used to work very heavily as a dancer. That was sort of the life career that I wanted to always have, backup dance for artists and all of that. And I'm from Montreal originally. And there was this one audition that I saw on Facebook, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And it was like for a dance part in this TV series. And the audition was in Toronto. So like, I made my dad drive me, and we're like, hey, let's go do this audition. And then I did the audition. If it went all good, like one step led to the next, and ends up, I got the job, but it wasn't just a dance job. It was an acting job. And I didn't really realize that through the audition process. And I was like, oh, I have no acting experience, but they did make us do like some little improv stuff. So I guess it was sort of like natural ability. And also this show was based, like they would create stories around who we naturally are. So it wasn't like an extreme acting challenge. And so yeah, that led me to move to Toronto for a few months to shoot this. And so I was very lucky to learn sort of how to act on set. And after doing that show, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I want to do this. Like, I want to get better at it. And then I decided to stop for a bit and then go to school. I went to the National Theatre School of Canada and did some training there. And then I just graduated recently. Well, now it's been a year and a half, like in the middle of the pandemic. But that show was sort of how acting was introduced to me, because after doing that like months on set acting, I was like, oh, this is so good. I love this. I want to get better at it. I want to do it more. And that's sort of what I've been doing.
That's amazing. So yeah, what did your family think when they were like, all of a sudden you're on the show?
They were very excited.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I guess, well, you know what? I never trained in acting, but since I was like 5 years old, my mom would tell me this story. I don't really remember it, but she would tell me the story. Like she would walk into the room when I was like 5 or 6 or something. And I'm like in front of the mirror talking to myself. And I'm like, thank you everybody for this award and for supporting me. And I'm like giving some sort of speech to a crowd.
You were like an Oscar, you're practicing your Oscar acceptance speech.
Yeah, exactly. So she was like, well, it seems like fitted, and both my parents have backgrounds as artists. So they were very supportive of this, lifestyle.
Oh, so that's good that you had that support, that they weren't like, no, don't go down this path.
No, yeah. They were very supportive.
Yeah. So you did a lot of theater as well as part of that was part of your college, or you were saying in IMDb it mentioned that you'd done some theater.
Yeah. So the school that I decided to go to is a theater school. So it's like a 3-year theater program. It's not really university, but I guess what you could compare it to is college. It's sort of like a specialized trade school-ish. So I did that. And so 3 years, and that wasn't any film and TV training. It was all theater. And we'd done a few plays. And so yeah, that was really exciting to just explore a different venue.
You have to finish it off like doing virtual plays or something like that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, we did. It was what's the word? Interesting.
Doing some Zoom plays.
Yeah, and now people are figuring it out, but at the time it was, I think March is when, the lockdown happened, and our graduation was May. So our last like 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Was the first time anybody was ever, I didn't even know what Zoom was before.
Right.
So it was interesting to figure that out.
Yeah, definitely. That would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were on a show on the USA Network. Is that right, Dare Me?
Yeah, I was. It was on USA Network and Netflix.
So yeah, what was that like, being a part of a show on a bigger network?
That was really fun. It was my first bigger opportunity on a bigger network. And it was really exciting. It was, I was playing a cheerleader, and the show itself, just to give context, Dare Me was sort of a bit of a murder mystery slash, there's like, you know, it follows the journey of women in high school, but also the coach, who is, you know, an adult, but just the intricacy and complexity of being a woman in this world and how we're defined and how we try to navigate certain things. It's been a while. I'm not explaining it very well, but it was really, really interesting. And then the context was sort of cheerleading. So this new coach would come into the city and then train the girls to whip us into shape. And then some things go wrong as the series goes. And it was a really fun team. We got to train in cheerleading. So that was exciting. I had a dance background, but not cheerleading. So to learn new skills is always an exciting thing.
So when you were doing theater, did you do musical theater or just traditional theater?
It was traditional theater. We did do one musical-ish. It was actually, no, it wasn't even a musical. It was a play that had music in it. Like there were songs and stuff in it, but it wasn't a full musical. It was this play called Nell Gwyn.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a really good play. It's a story about the first, well, at least in the Western world, the first women who got to act on stage, because previously to that, it was all men that were females. So
cool.
Yeah,
that sounds good. That sounds good. And you did some Shakespeare, right? Yeah. That's always fun.
Yeah. And I, previously to going to school, I never did any Shakespeare, or actually previously to going to school, I never did theater. It was film and TV was sort of all I knew. And then it's the school that showed me the whole theater world. And we did do some Shakespeare. I remember my first class, we had this whole Shakespeare unit. And our teacher was Ian Watson. He's no longer with us, but he's one of the greatest coaches that I've had the blessing to encounter during my time at school. And I remember the first time he introduced Shakespeare, I was like, oh, why are we still doing Shakespeare? Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I wasn't really into it. Yeah. And as, you know, things progressed, like I really, really enjoyed it.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcasts, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Well, it's kind of fun this year. You get a chance, because we have the new remake of West Side Story.
Yes.
Which is so great. Well done. And then there's also a new version of Macbeth, which is great.
I know, with Denzel.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see that.
It's so
good.
Out?
It's not out yet, is it?
I think it comes out Christmas Day, which is such a funny flex to me. Like, I'm going to celebrate Christmas by watching Macbeth. I don't know. That's funny.
But I'll do it. I'll do it.
That's right. I got to see it at a critic screening, and it's very impressive. The acting, unbelievable. Frances McDormand, Lady Macbeth, incredible. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better. I think if she hadn't won last year, I think that she could have won for it.
Right. It was also her husband that was directing it, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's just I think it's just one of the Coens. I think it's her husband, Joel.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's the Coen she's married to. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. One or the other of the brothers.
But it's only him this time, not both.
Right.
But it's very cool. The whole thing was filmed on a set, but it feels like a real castle. I don't know how they quite did it, but it's all in black and white, and they use like shadows and the black and white to its full effect. Because sometimes this is like the year for black and white films, and sometimes it feels like they're just putting it on a filter as opposed to like really using it like in interesting ways. I felt that way personally about Passing, this movie that I didn't love it. It has some good things about it, but I didn't love it. But yeah, using the black and white to like really start to tell the story and to like create mood and atmosphere. I think they did a good job in the Macbeth.
And having like, how was it compared to, was it, because I know a lot of people do traditional styles or like they make like a modern version.
It's traditional style. They do say adapted, so I don't think it's the whole play. I don't know the play like well enough verbatim to be like, oh, they took out that scene or they took out that part. But yeah, it's traditional style.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, you'll love it.
I'm excited. I just want to know, I like asking this when people watch movies, like what was your favorite thing about the movie? If you could just like pick one thing that you really loved.
Well, I really did love the cinematography. I thought it was very impressive, and just any of the scenes between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are really well done. But yeah, probably the Out Down Spot whole monologue was very good, very good.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I got out of it and I just thought, I don't feel like how you could do that any better. I mean, I know there's been other versions and those were good, but I don't see how you could make Macbeth for the screen better than what they did.
Right.
Yeah. And with West Side Story, I felt like it felt to me like it was a revival of like if you go to Broadway and you go to a revival, like it's pretty similar to our original play / movie, but they moved some things around. They did a few things different, and they had better singing and better chemistry, in my opinion, than the original.
What is it actually about? I don't, people are going to hate me for saying this, but I don't actually know.
So West Side Story is an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. That's why I mentioned it but it's set in the boroughs of New York in the 1960s, and you have the Jets and the Sharks as you're dueling their gangs instead of families.
Right.
And they have the music was written by Leonard Bernstein, and the lyrics by Stephen Sondheim, who just passed away. And it was his first musical he ever did, was the lyrics for West Side Story. And so it's pretty iconic. And the original movie, it got nominated for 11 Oscars and won 10. So it's
wow.
famous. Yeah. And so this new version, this new version is directed by Steven Spielberg, and it's his first musical, and he's always wanted to do a musical, I guess, his whole career. So he did a great job.
Oh, very cool.
So there's
theaters right now, right?
Yeah, it's in theaters. So go see it. It was really good. I thought, at least I enjoyed it. But anyway, so it's a good time to be a Shakespeare fan right now.
I'm excited. Oh, my thing is here too. My complete works.
Oh, nice.
I wouldn't say I'm like a Shakespeare fan, but like I definitely was taught to like really like it and enjoy it.
Yeah. There's also Cyrano coming out on Christmas Day that is like Shakespeare-like the original play, Cyrano de Bergerac. But it's a musical adaptation of Cyrano de Bergerac. And in the original play, Cyrano has a long nose, and so he's really uncomfortable. But he's a great writer, and he knows how to like woo women. But he's in love with Roxanne, and he doesn't feel like she will accept him with his long nose. But so there's this. He gives the words to Christian, who's this handsome young man, and she falls in love with his words, but from Christian anyway. And so with this take, they have Cyrano is Peter Dinklage, so it's not the long nose, it's him being a little person in that era. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. It's so good. It's Joe Wright, the director, who's the same director who did Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley.
Okay.
And Atonement, and he makes beautiful movies, so you got to see it.
Okay. Oh, I love this. Thank you for adding to it. I have my list. There's just like the amount of content is
unbelievable. Yeah,
there's so much. I'm hearing so many things, but those are both Christmas Day movies, so maybe I'll take my dad to the theater since I'm going back for the holidays, and then we'll go see those films.
Yes, check it. Yeah, let me know. Tag us when you go watch them and let me know what you think.
I will.
Good.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarkie in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Right. Sorry, this is not a other movie podcast, but hey, you just talk about it. It's fun.
I love it.
So let's talk about Say Yes to Christmas. This was your holiday film this year. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't have much expectations going into it. And I thought it was funny, particularly like every time you ended up saying yes. I thought it almost felt Jim Carrey-ish, the way that you kind of did it. It was like, yes, yes, yes.
It's so funny you say that, because that was one of the things we were talking about. The director and I were talking. I was like, you know what? This really makes me think of Yes Man, like his.
Yeah.
And then that was one of the things. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah. So how did you get the role, and what was kind of your process for this role?
So I got the role through auditioning, and right now because of COVID, it's all self-tapes. So I just like filmed it at home, got one of my actor friends to help me, and it was a lot. There was the audition scenes were like the fight that Blake and June have, and then a scene where she's making karage with her mom, and I can't remember which.
So were they looking for somebody with like an Asian heritage when they were they looking for somebody that was Asian when they cast the movie?
Yeah, it was
okay.
The breakdown was specifically they were looking for somebody who's Japanese American.
Oh wow, yeah.
That was really exciting, and I had a conversation with my manager after I received the breakdown, because I was like, I was just in shock. I'd never seen that before. You know, I'd seen Asian, or I'd seen, open ethnicity, but specifically Japanese American. I was like, whoa. And I was like, okay, after I auditioned and I got the part, I was like, I want to read the script, because I was like, first of all, who wrote this? And it ended up being somebody, his name is John Tamaki Zion, and he is, he's half Japanese. And so when I read the script, I was like, okay, this is authentic. It's actually true to the culture. And, it's not some, white dude who's like, oh, let's be cultural. Anyway, so it was like really well done. And I really enjoyed the script, and I was like, okay, this is really awesome. So I was really excited when I got the call. I sent him those tapes, and it was like, I forgot about it. A few months later, my manager called me. He's like, hey, so you got an offer for the role of June. And I was like, what is this? He's like, Saying Yes to Christmas. I'm like, what is that? And then I couldn't remember. And then as like I went through my emails, I was like, oh, this is the part I really wanted. This is the one I really, really wanted. And then, so I was really excited about it. And then I had, I think, between 2 to 3 weeks before we went to camera. And it was this was my first lead.
Oh, that's so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. So it was really exciting. I think through the process, I went through waves of like being really excited and being really overwhelmed, and like kind of both. But what helped me was to think about all the plays that I had done. And I was like, oh, like, you know, I'm going to approach this like a play. Like, instead of thinking I have to memorize like 70 scenes, it's like I'm working through one play. And we would rehearse it at school. We would rehearse about three weeks, and then we would, you know, hit the stage and we would know the whole thing from beginning to end. So that's sort of the approach that I took. And that really helped me not feeling overwhelmed with the amount of material, to just like look at it as a whole play, but a whole movie.
Yeah, that would help. I've always thought that would be challenging, is the memorizing of all the lines, especially when they're changing the scripts often.
Yeah.
Like, that would be hard, because I'd have it like set one way and then have to be like, oh, heck, I can't. I have to turn off that autocorrect in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So that's cool that they were so specific about wanting a Japanese American actress. I love that, because, you know, a lot of times it feels like, well, they cast and then they sort of change the script around the casting, but it doesn't sound like that was the case here. So that's great.
No, yeah, this is specifically what they were looking for.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So when you were coming up with how you were going to say yes, like, it was definitely a choice. And I thought it was really funny, and I enjoyed it. And so how did you kind of approach that and come up with that?
That's a good question. That was definitely a challenge. I remember even in my audition, that was a scene that I had to do. And I had a hard time, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but okay, I think my other 3 scenes were strong enough. And then when I got the job, I was like, okay, I actually have to do this. I worked with one of my movement coaches from NTS. Her name is Rebecca Harper. She's an amazing coach, and just human. But sort of like, we tried different approaches. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. What would be a good way to, like, because I think like this kind of work, there's a lot of things that we do, and when we say it out of context or like speak it, it kind of sounds crazy. But I definitely did a lot of exploration and just like switching, like physically switching energies from, like, you know, more of a deeper state to like a lighter state to, you know, we played with different things. And I think what was really important for me was that I actually commit completely to the yes, so that I'm actually saying yes. And then we played with different approaches too. Like on set, there are some different scenes where the director was like, okay, what if we like slide into the yes? You're like trying to say no, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I liked. It was funny.
Yeah. And then there were others where it was like a no to a yes, completely, like, you know, so we tried different things, just played with it, had fun with it. And
it was always like you lost control of your body.
Yeah. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So did you and Romaine, did you do like a chemistry test or anything like that?
No, we did not. We just met the first day. We did have, after we were both booked for the job, the director, Romaine, and we all sort of got together and just like had a little chat, just get familiar with each other a day before we started shooting. So we got the chance to like chat a little bit and meet before the first day of shoot.
Mm-hmm. Well, it worked out well. I thought you had nice chemistry.
Yeah, that was sort of the comment we kept receiving. A lot of people loved our chemistry. He was great to work with.
Yeah. And it was nice just because a lot of these movies sometimes take themselves a little too seriously. And I felt like this one had like a little bit of comedic bend to it, which was nice.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. So, well, very good. Congratulations on your first lead. That's such an excitement. That must have been, did you like freak out when you found out?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, I didn't know what the project was. I was with my manager and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. And then I looked and I was like, oh, okay. This is like my movie. Oh,
yeah.
So it took a while to like process, but I'm excited and ready for more.
Yeah, I hope it does. Yeah, you're like, I'm number 1 on the call sheet. What is happening?
Yeah.
And did you film this in the summer? Was it in?
Yes.
Yes. So it was super hot
during the heat wave
in Toronto.
In Hamilton.
Oh, okay. In
Yeah.
Ontario. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a nice back behind my back for a lot of the scenes.
I've heard that people do that. They'll line their coats or whatever with ice.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Well, congratulations. I enjoyed it. It's definitely one of the hidden gems, I would say, of this season, because Lifetime, they're doing a movie every single day. So it's kind of crazy and overwhelming. So you kind of look for those ones that stand out from the pack, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we like to end our interviews with some fun, silly questions. So these are the holiday edition. So, all right. First question. What is your favorite holiday drink?
I just thought eggnog off the top of my head, but I actually don't like it. Probably hot chocolate, like a nice hot chocolate with whipped cream.
Yeah. I think it's required that you like hot cocoa to be in these movies. You get kicked out.
Yeah.
You don't.
Essential.
Yeah. All right. What is your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Again, I'm like thinking of the typical ones. I want to say gingerbread cookie, but I actually don't like them. I really like apple pie with vanilla ice cream. My uncle usually has it during Christmas. I don't know that it's specifically a Christmas thing, but
hey, it counts. It counts. Yeah, I'm with you on the gingerbread because especially when they're hard, like you see them in these movies, like they're cute to decorate, but to actually eat, not good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm with you there. If they're soft, then that's pretty good, I think. But most cookies are best when they're warm.
Yeah,
which obviously
I love when it's like warm and then hard on the outside, like it's crunchy, but then it's soft on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
It melts.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm a big sweets person, so this is I'm excited.
The other key is like you take them out of the oven like a minute or maybe 30 seconds shorter than the recipe calls for.
Okay.
That'll make the best cookies because they're like soft and gooey and delicious.
Oh.
I'm getting hungry.
What's your favorite? Like I do when I make cookies at home, I do Pillsbury cookies, but like, do you have any recommendations for like different kind of cookies you make at home?
And I'm not much of a baker myself, but I do love like a good recipe of fudge or a old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie. You can't beat that.
Okay, we'll talk. We'll send me your recipes.
If people have recipe suggestions for Erika, you can send them #Erika Cookies.
Erika Cookies. Okay, yes. I like that.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right. Next question is, what is your favorite Christmas song or carol?
I don't know any. I guess I'm thinking of Mariah Carey's The One for Christmas Is You. Yeah.
She's the queen for a reason. She's the queen. All right. What is your favorite classic Christmas movie?
I guess Home Alone.
I love Home Alone. Good choice.
I watched Grinch last Christmas and I actually really enjoyed it.
Jim Carrey Grinch or
no, it was an animated one.
Yeah, animated. Yeah. I prefer that over the Jim Carrey version myself.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's not great. The whole thing feels so dirty. I want to like take a rag and wipe this.
Like, why are you clean?
Yeah. Which do you like better, clear lights or colored?
Clear.
Okay, good. Would you rather be in a snowball fight or build a snowman?
Snowball fight.
Okay, good. All right. Are you a good gift wrapper or not?
I am. I'm a very good gift wrapper.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Last question. Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
An ugly Christmas sweater?
Yeah.
I actually don't own any Christmas sweaters.
Yeah. You're like, no, all mine are like not ugly at all.
I get like these questions are making me realize I'm like, wow, I guess I'm not a very festive person.
Well, that's good. So it gives you a starting point that now you can be in all these Christmas movies and you'll be a pro by the end of it.
Yeah. It'll be my little holiday challenge. I'll try to figure out more Christmas things.
Yeah, that could be a Christmas movie. The girl who falls in love with Christmas by being in Christmas movies.
I like that. Yeah. Write that down. You better remember it. So, you put it at some point and
call the screenwriter of Say Yes to Christmas.
Yes,
Have him
get
do
it made.
Make me executive producer. We'll be
Yeah.
good. Well, very good. It was lovely to get to meet you. It was a lot of fun. Thanks so much for coming on. And do you have social media or anything like that you want to share?
I do, yeah. People can follow me on Instagram at Erika_Prevost.
Great. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it so much. We also have our Patreon group and merch store. Check that out. And thanks so much, Erika. This was great fun. And we'll talk to y'all later. Merry Christmas.
So much. Merry Christmas.
Bye.